Hello everyone. We're going to talk about some common errors that people have been noticing when starting to program with IntelliJ. So I just want to run through some of those common errors really quickly. So if we click on our IntelliJ app to open it up, yours might look different if you have the 2020 version because I am out of date and didn't update it recently. But when you open up IntelliJ, if you want to create a new project, we're going to click right here. If you are opening up an old project, they would exist right here for you, which is a really nice handy feature, or you can click open there. But most of the time we get errors occurring when we create a new project. So let's click on that one. We're going to create a new project. We need to make sure that we have Java selected over here on the left. Of all of the options that you can see, we need to have Java selected. For some, the default is to select an empty project, which is not what we want and will lead to weirdness going on. So we cannot have an empty project. We need to have a Java project, and we need to include and have our JDK connected and there. So if it says no SDK, we need to connect it, but you should have some JDK installed and connected. If you are on a Mac, this better be JDK 1.8. If you are on a PC, we think it doesn't matter, although later testing might change that theory. We're going to go ahead and click next. Be sure you do not create a project from a template. We do not want a template. There are very few templates that would be useful to us because we are going to make our own programs. So we're going to go ahead and click next, and then we're going to title it. So I'm going to call this one Common Errors because that's what this project is all about. And then it'll take a second and things will load. I'm going to close the tips, and here we go. From here, we are going to drop down on our options of common errors. If I accidentally open up this idea folder, or I try to create a class from the idea folder, you will see a file option, but you will not see a Java class option. That is because we need to be selecting our source folder. We need that SRC folder, that source folder that is right here. That is the one that we need to select. Then we are going to right click and say new. It must be a Java class. None of these other options are going to work out for you. Must be a Java class. And then let's name it, I don't know, test. So now I have a public class test. If I go in and I try to start typing my program, let's say I type system.out.println. Hi there. And I type it all out. I've got it all done. What the heck, this Glenn, that's totally a command. I know how to type. I've seen this print statement before. I know this is what it's supposed to say. Why is it telling me that I cannot resolve this symbol? That is because we've forgotten the most important method that we need in every single one of our Java projects, and that is our main method, the PSVM. If your code exists outside of that main method, Java doesn't know where to look to find it, and therefore it will be upset with you and tell you that things in the Java dictionary that do exist do not in fact exist. So it needs to exist within our main method. From there, we have to have our program working as such, and then we should see these play buttons. Another option that causes people to have some errors sometimes is everything looks like it should, however, these play buttons do not appear. If that's the case, what we need to do is we're going to go up to File, open up Project Structure, and you will see this window pop up. You need to double check again that your JDK is still connected. It's possible that when you made a project now, you did not actually connect your SDK, somehow missed it in the front steps, so you can double check it right here. Make sure your SDK is connected, and we've got JDK 1.8. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and click down to Modules. Modules will show me all of the folders that exist inside of my Common Errors project. An important step that sometimes gets forgotten in your computer setup for unknown reasons is that this folder right here, this SRC folder exists but is not marked as a source. So I'm going to unmark it really quickly to show you what that would look like, and I'm going to hit OK. So now all of my project is here. I can see my Java class inside of my source file or inside of my source folder. However, notice now that this source folder is in gray and it will not work. Nothing here. I cannot run this program. It's upset with me. I don't know what this error message means. Nothing here. What that is that your computer right now doesn't recognize this folder, even though it's named SRC, as the source folder. So I'm going to undo the thing that I just set up. So we're going to head back over to Modules. We're going to highlight that source folder and we're going to mark it as sources. It needs to be marked as the source folder, and then we click and say OK. Now it is a blue folder, it is marked as the source folder, and our program is much happier and will in fact allow us to run our simple print statement command and print out hi there. One more thing very quickly. I noticed today as well that some students were creating a Java class, naming it, and then later wanting to edit this name. We can't edit this name without editing the overall name of the class. This test.java, this word test must be the same as the word test that appears here. So let's say later on I decided, oh, the instructions that Miss Glenn gave me actually said that this should be called, that this should be called print experiments. And I try to type now, things are going to go weird because now the name of the class added source in the file and the name of the first line of what I'm calling this class do not match up, and that's not something that Java knows how to deal with. It will no longer read and realize that this is the start of the same file as where it's being saved. So even if you've messed up the title of this class, you have a typo in it, you want to change the name later on, we can't change the name in this capacity. You would have to make a new class and copy and paste in code if you really care about changing the name. But what I will say is more often than not, the name of this class will not actually matter to you all that much. If you want to, you can leave a comment and say, this class should be titled print experiments. And then that way when you come to look back at it later, you can remember, if I refer to it very explicitly as print experiment, you can remember it in that capacity. If this was not already covered, just like we have comments in Turtle graphics when we did that and we used the hashtag and the text became green, in Java, in IntelliJ, we can do the same idea of having comments. In Java, instead of a hashtag, we use 2 forward slashes, and then if you notice, the text will appear in a light gray color. Alright, but after you've done checked for all of these errors, if none of these seem to be the problem of what's causing your program to have an error, call me in, tell me explicitly what you're seeing, show me your screen, all of those things. If it's outside of a class time, send me an email, include screenshots or the exact description of the error that you're seeing so that I can help you as best as